Good evening and welcome to the Primetime Bulletin on Joy News on Multi TV. I am Gifty Ando Apia. Coming up in this edition, the weather and human error have been blamed for last year's crash of the cargo airplane at the Kotoka International Airport, in which 10 minibus passengers were killed. Members of Parliament raised concern about their safety over locked exits leading in and out of their chamber. Deputy ministers vowed to make a difference in their roles after an orientation program. In business, inflation for June goes up to 11.4%, with housing, electricity and gas amongst the key contributors. And residents and small business owners at Greengate at Asylum Down have lost their properties in a demolition exercise. We have all these plus the Black Satellites lost to France in the quarter-final of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, showbiz and international news coming up. Please stay. Welcome to the details. Now, harsh climatic conditions and human error have been blamed for last year's cargo plane crash at the Kotoka International Airport. 10 passengers on board a minibus on an adjoining road were killed when the plane overshot the runway and crashed into their vehicle. Briefing journalists on the content of the full report, the chairman of the investigating committee, Captain Alec Grantsam, explained the aircraft floated for quite a distance before landing.
The aircraft took off from Lagos at 18:28 hours. The flight to Accra was uneventful. And then when we got to Accra, it was raining very hard. He carried out an instrument approach. And instead of landing roughly 1,000 feet from the threshold, the aircraft floated for quite a distance, actually almost 6,000 feet, So when it eventually landed, there was very little room for stopping. He had about 4,000 feet to stop. This is all from the black box, the records from the black box.
Chairman of the investigating committee, Captain Alec Grantsam, also spoke about some recommendations made in the report.
There is a device that you put at the end of the runway for aircraft like that. When an aircraft, say, loses its brakes or it can't stop for some reason and it overruns the runway, this device checks it from going further on across roads and so on and so forth and causing mayhem. Because this one landed at about 180 miles per hour, you see. And with 4,000 feet left, it's not possible to stop.
Officials, however, declined to state the full content of the report, noting they were yet to study the document.
Once the ministry has received that, then a comprehensive report will be made and published accordingly. But as at now, and as far as civil aviation is concerned, we do not know what caused the accident. We have not received a copy of the report. We are going to receive it, we will comment on it, and then the ministry has an opportunity to come up with like an executive summary of what indeed is presumed to have happened on that day.
Minister of Transport Jifa Ativo said the necessary recommendations in the report will be implemented after government has studied it and is satisfied.
We at the ministry are not responsible for payment of insurance. This is between the airline and the insurance company. So we are happy that some efforts is being done to assist those who lost their family members. And I hope that when the Minister of Transport in Nigeria receives the copy of the report, appropriate action will be taken. As we've always been saying, accident investigation report is not for penalizing the people, maybe to initiate corrective measures to forestall a recurrence of such incidents.
Meanwhile, the airport fence wall that was destroyed in the crash has already been built.
The Ashanti Regional Police Command has arrested 2 more suspects in connection with the murder of a security guard at the Ashford Hotel in Bantama in Kumasi. It brings to 3 the number of persons arrested so far in connection with the murder. The 2, George Anaba, 21, alias Balak, an aluminium fabricator, and Alex Ofosu, 19, alias D-Crime, an SHS graduate, were arrested earlier this month. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin sent in this report.
The 3rd suspect, Prince Edujemfi, 21, alias Oreku, was the first to be arrested by the police about 2 weeks ago in connection with the murder of the security guard. Prince Edujemfi has been identified as the person who supposedly fired the shot which killed the security man. In June this year, a robbery syndicate attacked an internet cafe at Bantama, making away with an iPad and 2 mobile phones. The robbers shot a woman at the same area and robbed her of money and mobile phone. The same syndicate is also said to chop off a man's ear at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. In a related development, a 26-year-old man, Michael Densa, who bought an HP laptop, has been arrested for purchasing a laptop which was robbed from a hotel. Items retrieved from the suspects include 1 HP laptop, 2 locally manufactured pistols, 11 BB live cartridges, 1 iPad and a mobile phone. The Regional Police Command has, however, appealed to the media to stop running commentaries on crimes under investigations. According to him, it makes their work difficult. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report for Joy News.
A 33-year-old second-hand shoe seller known as Dada Boat was burnt to ashes this dawn at Ntoto, a suburb of Cape Coast, when fire gutted the wooden structure which served as his home.
The cause of the fire has not been established yet, but eyewitnesses describe the incidents as horrific. They told Joy News Dada Boat was in the room with his girlfriend, but the girlfriend escaped the fire with slight bruises and has since been taken to the hospital for treatment. According to them, Dada Boat had told them the previous night he would travel to Accra the next day and therefore thought he had traveled at the time of the fire. They continued, his girlfriend, who escaped death, told them Dada Boat was in the room and upon entering saw the lifeless body of Dada Boat in the room. The Central Regional Operational Officer of the Fire Service, Alex Appiah, who was at the scene, advised the general public to be extra cautious. For Joy News, Georgina Appiah's report.
About 12 shops and homes in the Green Gate area of Asylum Down in Accra have been demolished. This follows a court order for the evacuation of workers and residents on that piece of land owned by a private individual. Joy News' Emmanuel Ante was at the demolition grounds and has come through with this report.
We are here at Asylum Down Green Gate where the demolition is going on here. We were trying to take shots of the demolition, but the policemen are preventing us from taking the shots. They are saying that we should see the regional command first before doing the story, before filming. But filming the demolition was a challenge as the police inspector in charge of the exercise threatened the crew with imprisonment. He pursued us even when we took cover behind one of the garages being demolished. Our perseverance, however, paid off eventually. Residents and workers affected by the demolition told us they woke up at 5:30 this morning to see their homes and workshops being demolished. We noticed a court order for the evacuation of encroachers on the land. But according to Suleiman Ayaba, the owner of the garage and leader of residents, the court order for their evacuation was only posted on the walls yesterday.
Last, Yawahana, Umubai, no catches Umama 6 months, Umaton, Sasna Manco for BT, Umama 6 months up to December. Tiampe place B, Nayanko. Just say, okay, we understand. So we are preparing for 6 months, you know. Yes, all I know, Pana, and you may know, and I'm a letter be our paste. Yes, all I know, Pana, police for say a move. I say, you move your cousin, you only 2 in Casaba. I see. 2 in Casaba, my time, 9 fine day, move your cousin if you are up to even my best 2 days. Cramponi say I move, cry, but some of the cars, no, tiny as if you near say, anything moves. I only see but 2 cars now, see car, am I?
Some of the owners of the structure said the landlord, only known to them as Abajise, collected 50 Ghana cedis each from them and told them they had till December to leave the premises. Here, another victim of the demolition, whose name is Senanu, and he's threatening to even do something to the landlord. Senanu, what is your beef?
I started this morning. I sleep where I wake up this morning. The thing will happen, you know, good. Say 6 months, then for come out for this land top. But this 6 months, you know, rich self. But this morning, you know, talk to anybody self. Say this thing it go happen today. So this morning, the thing will happen. Me, myself, you pay me. Other the way I suffer this morning, you know good. No good. See, you all Ghanaians, you be woman, be one woman, be. So you want to do something for tell your brother say this and this. So I begging the landlord say, make he help us pack the my things and do something. I do something like because the thing where I want to know, like me. If I do something, they go talk, say me I'll be a bad person. Serious, because everything we pay everybody. Somebody want to do something, it be bad thing. So that one day I forget it. Serious, you know.
I once again tried to engage the police officers supervising the demolition, but they refused to speak and referred us to the divisional commander.
Now, some 2,500 students recruited from various tertiary institutions have been deployed by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development to undertake the first phase of the Student Industrial Attachment Program aimed at improving sanitation in the country. The recruits will be working in partnership with waste management firm Zoomlion.
Sanitation remains a big challenge, as about 70% of diseases reported at the outpatient department are said to be sanitation related. The attitude of Ghanaians have also been identified as one of the challenges in fighting the menace, as people indiscriminately dump refuse which ends up in drains, causing serious flooding during the rainy seasons. The interns who are currently being taken through orientation will therefore be deployed within their communities to embark on local sustainable sanitation awareness and behavioral change campaigns.
It's going to be like educating people, making sure they do the right thing. Like people go around just in a car, throwing out refuse or whatever they want to do. People go out there. People even go out and they don't wash their hands before eating and all those things. So as students, they will be educating people. So it's more about psychologically trying to tune the brain of citizens of this country.
The first batch will work in the Greater Accra region, with the next batch to be deployed to other regions in 2 weeks. National Coordinator of the Ghana Students Industrial Attachments, Stephen Jessikwao, also shares some insights in the concept of the program.
We're going to be as well focusing on all the service industries across board, financial sector, the agriculture sector, mining, technology sector. However, we are piloting with this, the kickoff with the environmental public education on sanitation. What we want students to do is a national issue, but students are going to take this opportunity to build their self-confidence. It's going to create opportunity for people to identify wealth creation opportunity. As they go around and export opportunity, we expect them to think innovatively to solve problems, that they can create product development could come out of that.
The program is expected to accelerate progress and impact needed in achieving the MDG goals on environmental sanitation.
Away from that, let's quickly go to Parliament. Now, the Speaker of Parliament has assured members the leadership will immediately take steps to address concerns about their safety and security raised on the floor today. The concerns relate to some of the doors leading in and out of the chamber, which have perpetually been under lock and key. The Minister for Works and Housing was also in Parliament today to answer questions posed by members on soil erosion in Sefwi-Akontombra constituency. Emmanuel Ante was in Parliament.
Today in Parliament, the MP for Sefwi-Akontombra, Harold Kobina, is expected to ask the Minister of Works and Housing questions on the investigations conducted by the Hydrological Services Department on the soil erosion taking place in Sefwi-Akontombra. He's also expected to be asked questions on how potable water is going to be provided to the people of Sefwi. The MP for Nkoranza North, Major Retired Derek Odru, who raised the issue about security, fear the worst could happen should there be a need for members to hurriedly exit the chamber.
We have exits, about 3 or 4 exits to the house. More often than not, these doors are closed on the key. And a situation where something happens in Parliament, these are the doors that we use to get out of the chamber at ease. You always find that these doors are locked. I had prompted people on so many occasions about the security of the members in the House in case of any eventuality. People have not heeded to these pieces of advice given. So today I have the occasion to raise it in the House for members to be aware, for the Speaker of Parliament to be aware that this is the time bomb we are sitting. We are sitting on this time bomb because we don't have to wait until this issue or eventuality happens before we call somebody from somewhere we don't know to come and open the gates for us to run away from the House.
The Speaker then assured him he will work on it. The Works and Housing Minister was in the chamber as the first of the ministers summoned to answer questions in the second meeting of the 6th Parliament. He had to answer the MP for Sefi Akontombra, Harold Kobina, who was concerned about the outcome of the investigation conducted by the Hydrological Services Department to assess the extent of soil erosion in the area.
When the following towns in Sefi Akontombra will be provided with small town water and sanitation systems: 1. Aka Krum, Kojo Krum, Esasi Dewen Krum, Apru 2, Nkodum Besibema.
The sector minister in his response indicated lack of funds is to blame for the stalling of the project.
Mr. Speaker, the Hydrological Services Department studied the problem and noted that major gullies had developed in various parts of the communities as a result of storm runoff. In some instances, the gullies pose great danger to buildings as they tend to undermine their foundations. The Hydrological Services Department has proposed to construct concrete drains to tackle the erosion problem. The ministry will implement the project when funding is available.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Investments Promotion Council Bill 2013 is still under consideration. From Parliament House, Emmanuel Ante reporting for Joy News.
You're still watching the Primetime Bulletin here on Joy News. When we return from this break, we'll head straight to the presidency. You're welcome back. Now, a 3-day orientation session for deputy ministers at the Federation Lodge has ended, with participants assuring they are in a better position to deliver in their roles. Deputy Information and Media Relations Minister Felix Kwachi Ofosu, a participant himself, told the Presidential Press Corps at today's briefing the training will make a great difference. Essentially, the message he sought to convey was Ghanaians should expect a difference in how affairs of the state are run as far as the contribution of deputy ministers are concerned.
Deputy ministers this while have not been in doubt about what is required of them. But the events of the last 3 days have imbued them with a greater sense of urgency, a greater sense of purpose. And we have obtained deeper insight into the requirements of the office. We have been taken through various scenarios, various paradigms, and we have also benefited from the experience of people who have occupied the office before. And so I would say that, and indeed I know seem to be true for my colleagues, it would reflect in the sort of output that you see coming from deputy ministers.
The deputy minister did not provide a yardstick for the assessment of the impact of the training. He, however, indicated he and his colleagues will perform much better in office. Per discussions held here today, Ghanaians can rest assured that governance henceforth will not be business as usual. But as indicated earlier, only time and rigorous monitoring will confirm or reject this assertion. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Flagstaff House. However, from the presidency, motorists plying the Echuma-Techiman road in the Ashanti region are complaining about the road they say has become a death trap. The road connects towns like Techiman, Boko and Ohumase and also serves as an alternate route for drivers using the Ebuakwa road. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin reports.
The deteriorating nature of roads in the country has often been associated with accidents. A portion of this road is seriously eroded, making it a nightmare for any driver who plies it, especially at night. Persistent breakdown of vehicle exhaust pipes and wearing of tires have become challenges drivers here have to deal with regularly. This deep trench in the middle of the bridge puts the lives of both drivers and passengers at risk. Residents have thus resorted to placing lorry ties over potholes and trenches on the road to caution drivers. According to some drivers, they spend an entire day's sales on maintaining their vehicles and are therefore asking government to help construct the road.
So quite the SS capa bibili ya me adwuma free so for like e ba be se kofo ase if you copy tabum ko ne kura se nyina ba bi no e papa mai ye ho kire e panti abai o mo hwe no mu twa mo ni me hwe mo chi wa na ye bre pa.
Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin's report for Joy News.
The Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, with the support of RLG and Canon, have launched the National Tourism Photo Competition and their official website. The competition aims to create employment for the youth and help promote tourism, culture and creative arts through e-photography.
The Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, says the initiative is part of a ministry's strategy to attract investors.
You cannot invest at a place that you have not seen or heard anything about. So apart from creating jobs, it's also going to expose our tourist attraction for investors to see what we have. Then they can come and invest in these areas. You see that it's apart from creating jobs, we are also exposing our tourist attraction to investors to come both locally and internationally to come and invest in our beautiful tourist attractions.
60 participants would be selected from every region, making a total of 600 participants who would be provided with all the necessary equipment, including digital cameras and printers from Canon and laptops from RLG at absolutely no cost. The ministry also launched its official website where persons interested in taking part in the photo competition can register.
Telecoms provider Tigo has launched the Reach for Change initiative, which it says is part of its vision to help solve societal problems. The initiative is aimed at improving the lives of children by empowering social entrepreneurs in the community.
Speaking at the launch, the general manager of Tigo Ghana, Obafemi Banigbe, says since the inception of Reach for Children some 3 years ago, the company's main aim has been to provide financial support to social entrepreneurs with innovative ideas on how to help improve the lives of children. He adds the initiative is to reaffirm the commitment to promote entrepreneurship.
Improving the lives of children. Today, together with Reach for Change, we are affirming our continuous support to invest in individuals with the right tools, with entrepreneurship skill, and with innovative drive to make sustainable improvement and change.
Tigo, in collaboration with a Swedish-based non-profit organization, currently supports 9 social entrepreneurs under the Reach for Change project. Each beneficiary is given an amount of $25,000 to start a 3-year project. The call for entry ends on August 6, 2013.
Coming up next is business news.
Joy News Business is brought to you in association.
Welcome to the business news. Now, government is set to issue its first 7-year bond next month to raise 100 million Ghana cedis. This would be the first time the country is issuing a bond that would mature over that period. It is also planning to issue another 7-year bond in November to raise the same amount. This is contained in government securities calendar for the next half year. A 5-year bond is also to be issued in September to raise 600 million Ghana cedis. Joy Business gathers proceeds from these bonds would be used to settle maturing debts and finance some infrastructure projects. This could bring the total amount of funds government would raise from the sale of short and long-dated bonds for this year to a little over 13 billion Ghana cedis.
The Consumer Price Index, otherwise known as inflation, measures over time changes in the general price level of goods and services. The goods and services used as a basis for the computation is referred to as the food basket and has been reviewed to ensure the inflation rate paints a more realistic picture of the situation in the market. The June rate is indicative price levels have generally gone up, with the implication for cost of living and disposable incomes. Acting government statistician Dr. Philomena Nyako explains the rise in inflation was influenced by both the food and non-food groups, with housing, water, electricity and gas among the key contributors.
Based on the rebased figures, the food inflation rate for June 2013 was 6.3%. This is compared to a level of 5.8% recorded for May 2013. For the non-food inflation rate, we have a figure of 15.7% for June 2013, and this is the same as was recorded for May 2013.
Greater Accra recorded the highest inflation rate for the period under review in both the food and non-food inflation rates, whilst Brong-Ahafo the lowest. The Ghana Statistical Service says it expects the inflation to ease in the coming months. For Joy News, Marian Ture reporting.
So that's about inflation for the month of June, which the Statistical Service says is up 11.4% from the 11.1% recorded in May 2013. Now let's move on to other stories. Now, industries targeted to pay tax highs approved by Parliament are worried about its implications for their operations. The businesses under the Private Enterprises Federation say they would want to approach governments with proposals on other revenue mobilization options.
Chief Executive of the Federation, Nana Osei-Bonsu, tells Joy News their members are already reeling under severe economic strain brought on by, among other challenges, the erratic electricity supply situation. He explains the timing of the tax hikes is bad, especially as they have not been consulted.
When all of a sudden, without consultations, a new wave of taxes are imposed, it disrupts the already planned strategies where business was going to create little things or other things based upon the internally generated income based upon their profit margins. So our concern is that government possibly could have and should have possibly engaged the private sector and look at avenues which should not disrupt our operations, which would make it possible for government to also generate the revenue that they're looking for.
He says government could consider other options.
Free zones, a lot of companies that are coming in are enjoying freebies basically at the time because we wanted to generate jobs. Are they creating the jobs that we want? Are they creating the opportunity that we're looking for? So, and then the tax exemptions. Have we gone back to review all the tax exemptions and see if they are right, if they're still valid, if they should be removed? And so we have to look at, you cannot leave any sector or any areas untouched. Has government thoroughly reviewed its expenditure, prioritized things that are necessary, that are needed for the economic growth? In these difficult times, it's not everything that we can do.
Industries are required to pay a 5% fiscal stabilization levy in addition to a corporate tax of 25%. Other taxes include the talk tax and special import levy. Banks, mobile operators, breweries, as well as mining companies are directly targeted. But Nana Osei-Bonsu says there will be a cascading effect on other sectors, with consumers bearing the final brunt.
Telecom firm Tigo says it is yet to decide whether to pass on to its subscribers or absorb the amended talk time tax. The tax imposes an additional 6% interconnection fee on incoming international calls and data transmissions. There have been concerns the tax would lead to increase in tariffs as the telcos are likely to pass them on. But Chief Marketing Officer at Tigo, Tenu Awuno, says no such decision has as yet been taken. He, however, says subscribers can be assured their commitment to them will not change.
Invariably, yes, it will be an additional cost, but we are still committed to ensuring that our customers continue to have the best service and are not adversely affected by this change.
The Ghana Export Promotion Authority is hopeful of meeting the $5 billion target from export earnings despite recent challenges. Ghana's earnings from non-traditional exports declined marginally last year due to a drop in prices for some products. It comes at a time Ghanaian mangoes are faced with a ban in the European Union over a failure to meet standards. But Chief Executive of the authority, Gideon Kwame Boy Kwaku, tells Joy Business despite these challenges, earnings would improve in the next few years. The authority in 2009 was charged by the Trade Ministry to put measures in place to increase the country's earnings from non-traditional exports to $5 billion by 2016. Ghanaians have been urged not to rely too much on foreign investors, but cultivate the habit of investing in the country to boost the economy. Edu Anani Enchi, Director General of Securities and Exchange Commission, said this at the launch of the 3rd edition of the Ghana Investment Awards.
Developing capacity into investment has become important in improving the economies of countries. This requires that citizens invest in their own country's economy to move it forward. It is in this regard that Ghana Investment Promotion is encouraging Ghanaians to cultivate the habit of saving and investing in the country to boost our economy. Eduana Nienchi is the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission. He was speaking at the launch of the Ghana Investments Award here in Accra.
Every country that has developed because there are the availability of long-term capital. If you want to build the roads, if you want to build the bridges, if you want to open factories, you want to go into any production, long-term production, you need long-term capital. So regardless of whatever is happening, there's a need for us to mobilize sufficient long-term funds to work on the development of this economy. So it is key that we invest.
The theme adopted for the 3rd edition of the Ghana Investment Awards, promoting investor education and awareness for sustainable investment drives. Kelvin Abdallah is president of Premier Network and Investment Club, organizers of the awards.
Only 1% of the Ghanaian public participating in the investment market industry. Contrast that with the banking industry, where we have something around 30 to 40%. I don't have the exact number. You would see that there is a very large expanse of space that can be filled up by the investment banking industry. And the only way we can achieve this is to ensure that the whole concept of investment moves away from the financial analysts and from those who are perceived as experts and comes down to the very people who should be putting their money there. Because it's not only the millions that makes up the industry, but if we get people to put in their thousands as well as their hundreds, ultimately would contribute to a better investment industry.
The event is slated for 3rd August 2013.
It appears the recent sterling performance of the Ghana Stock Exchange is attracting more international attention and investors. Burrs Africa, managers of derivatives exchange on the continent, has secured the blessing of the Ghana Stock Exchange to use its composite index which tracks the average performance of listed stocks on their platform for investors across the world. The Ghana Index Futures is expected to go live next month on their platform in Mauritius. Investors can trade in the index by betting on the expected performance of Ghana's market. The Ghana Stock Exchange, on the other hand, is expected to earn a commission on every transaction on the platform. And that's all in business.
Joy News Business was brought to you in